Hey everyone, I wanted to jump on here really quick. I'm going to do a quick garden tour. We're kind of in between raindrops right now. It is the full moon today, and so I'm feeling like I want to show you kind of the harvest that we've had. Um, if you can ignore the weeds, that's even better. But I'm going to take you through the community garden today and show you the plants that are kind of getting ready to end up their seeds and what we're going to do to process them and a few medicinal benefits. Hope you enjoy. All right. So as you know, with everything, it's not just about the plants, it's also about the weeds. And right here we have some beautiful perilla, beefsteak mint. If you look real close, it has its flowers on there. Now this one is in the mint family, and I'll show you one of the reasons I can tell. Most of the mint family plants have very distinctive square stems. They're highly aromatic. Now this one is an invasive. Now this one is also called sesame leaf or beefsteak mint, and it is rampant right now, but it is gorgeous. I tend to use this a little bit, and I'm going to dry a bunch more and see. It does have a strong, almost sesame-like flavor. That's what they call it, sesame leaf, anisey flavor. And so I think it's going to be a really good carminative. So carminative is a plant that's really kind of soothing to the digestive, especially in helping with cramps and spasms. So we have another carminative right here. Now this is one of my favorite plants all seasons. And right now, actually I should probably get to harvesting this because it's starting to dry out, is our bronze fennel plants. Now bronze fennels don't make a true bulb. They get very, very stocky. You'll see down here. So it's growing out of there. But what's going to start to happen is these seeds will drop and we'll get another plant or two. It loves to make babies. So it's a fun one. But these gorgeous seeds right now are filled with delicious fennel flavor because they're fennel seeds. But what they do in the body is pretty amazing. So if you chew on one of these fennel seeds, it will actually cause your mouth to have a little more saliva. You'll feel that energy, and it actually has a little bit of heat to it. But what it's doing when we crunch it all up is it's creating demulcent in the stomach. So it's kind of coating the digestive tract. It's calming any belly spasms, helping to remove gas, dispel gas from the body, and overall just help the digestive system. So I love having a couple cups of tea. It's also one of my favorite ones to tincture fresh. So I'll grind up those beautiful heads, put it in with vodka, and make a tincture out of it. This plant over here is one of my favorite ones, and I'm not sure if you've seen this one before. This is another one of our basil family. This is called African basil. Beautiful seed heads. If you are a flower person, this is one of my favorite late season flower add-ins when I'm making arrangements. It's beautiful. It's highly aromatic. So when I put one of these in my mouth, it is spicy almost to the point of oregano. And so that spice really tells me it's warming up the body, helping to increase circulation, boost metabolism, and really kind of help with the overall function of the body. So this one is a lovely one to have. And the other fun thing is it will make the tea blue. The bluer, the more purple the stems, the more blue your tea will get. I often mix this with other teas to really get a nice basil-y feel. So I'm going to take you over here with our little wildflowers, late season wildflowers here. It's one of those things where it looks beautiful and it's a managed mess. We're gonna say it like that. So some of the other fun things that we have here in the garden, edible wise, we have our lamb's quarters that have gone to seed. And if you look at these little seeds, these are actually in the quinoa family. And if you were so wanting to, you could actually wait for these to dry out a little bit more, harvest the seeds and use them like quinoa. I tend to rip these out at this point, but they're still a nice thing to kind of know and identify. If you have it in your garden already, you will have it again. So it's a wonderful plant to do that. We have our beautiful sage. Now we harvested a bunch of sage earlier in the season when it was really flush. Now we're getting a little bit of dieback here. You see this? So we're getting some dieback. The beautiful thing about sage is I will actually clear this off because we don't want to have too much of goodness gracious, dead leaves on it because we really want to foster new growth. And so I'll kind of come in here and just clean it up And when we do our big cleanup soon, we'll have that little ladybug. Oh, but she's so beautiful. And right now she is one of those plants that is really, really wonderful for this time of season. She's warming. She's going to help fight infections, both viral and bacterial. Wonderful for strep throat. There's a little friendly spider crawling on me. But a great remedy. And I always say that she's one of our guardians of the garden, meaning that she is really going to be helpful to have on hand, and she should stay most of the winter. So you could kind of use her for that. And aromatic wise, she is one of our favorite ones to tuck into meat dishes or veggie dishes, and just laying a few herbs in a pan will really flavor it. That's why I love it. These little herbs right here, these little leaves right here are the best if you do some brown butter and some gnocchi or something fun like that. All right, I'm going to try to stick to stuff that has flowers for the most part. And when we come out again later in the season, you'll see that more. We have some beautiful Tulsi here. Now Tulsi, this is Tenephloreum. It's our temperate Tulsi. So meaning it will actually stay or reseed or come back again. Now these are all volunteers, I believe, from last year. And so this is the aromatic smell. Now the thing with Tulsi is this looks super lush and full right now, and it is lush and full. When I cut this back and dry this down, so I'm about to cut and trim everything back, it's going to make very little medicine. The other things you can do with Tulsi from a harvesting standpoint is adding it to honeys, grinding it down. I actually really like to, if I have an abundance of it, I will take the stems off of the leaves and powder them down and have a little bit of Tulsi powder around to add into flavors and soups and teas and stews. But just drying it is pretty easy. We're here in Virginia, so zone, I was going to say 7A. We'll find out. Look at this guy right here. It's just filled with pollen. But cutting it low, flipping it upside down, letting it dry. This has a little bit too many seed cells on it, but it still doesn't get a bitter flavor. So it's a really nice one to have around. And it smells amazing. And again, Tulsi, if we haven't talked about this, we're not 100% sure that the Tenephloreum, and I'm going to try to show you the other varietals if they're in bloom, has as many adaptogenic properties as the other ones. Tulsi is known for its adaptogenic, meaning that it's going to bring the body back into balance. And Tulsi specifically loves to work with cortisol and hormones and shifting hormones back into balance. So it's a wonderful plant. It's one of my favorite tea herbs. Just kind of gives you lifts. It also really helps with sugar cravings. So I tend to, especially this time of year, crave that 3 o'clock cookie. But having a cup of Tulsi tea kind of brings me a little bit of energy and boost, and then like brings me down to focus and calm. So I really love it. The other beautiful flower you're going to see in here, and that's surrounded by Tulsi, isn't as hardy in its growth habit, but it is a wonderful plant. It is Agastache. Now, again, we're in the mint family. The basil's in the mint family. The sage is in the mint family. Sticking with the aromatic themes. But this is a beautiful plant to grow in your gardens. The hummingbirds and bees and pollinators love it. And I love it for so many reasons. But this is a beautiful, beautiful plant to grow. And this one actually has like a licoricey root beer flavor. So if you make your own kombuchas or really like unique flavors, growing this is a fun one. All right, over here we have some beautiful hibiscus. Ta-da! Look at these flowers. Right here. Hibiscus is in the mallow family. So when I always think of the mallow family, one of the favorite things I like to say is it's slimy. So if you actually have ever made hibiscus tea from its beginning, you'll notice that it swells up significantly, and it actually has if you eat one of those, the calyxes, which is this part of it, if you eat one of those, it will actually be pretty slimy in your mouth. You can make like a jam and all of that. I have seen people making jams. Just if I can zoom in on it, we'll see. Those are our grandiflora hibiscus that are at the front of the apothecary, and those are also growing in. But here you go. This is what it looks like. Here's the flower. Now this is not going to overwinter, and it actually gets zapped along with the lemongrass, which is going right down here. the first sign of fall. So when to harvest your lemongrass? I always wait too long, but you see how it's starting to get more and more red colors throughout. That's kind of when I want to harvest it. And for me, I harvest the leaves. They dry really, really well. I'm going to combine that with my Tulsi, and we make a house tea every year out of a bunch of teas. And we also use it for our community shares, so our herbal shares for that we sell on a monthly basis. But this is the lemongrass right here. It's a beautiful one, and you'll notice again, Tulsi's everywhere. That the stalks are just beautiful. So I'll have a lot of stalks, and I freeze these. I have dried them before and put them into powders. They're just a little bit more than I want to give. I'm sorry, back to the hibiscus. So what we're actually using is the calyx, which is before the flower. And so we're using this little part right here. And if I put this in my mouth, it's really sour. And the beautiful properties of hibiscus are sour, so meaning they're cooling to the body. They're going to be supportive of our cardiovascular systems. It's one of my favorite ones to add on a daily basis for blood pressure regulation and really kind of helping the circulatory system stay healthy. It's a beautiful, fun plant. I'll put that one in my pocket. Oh boy. So I crazily planted milkweed. We did have a bunch of caterpillars here. I doubt there's any left. Now we're looking, oh, right there's one right there. You see it? And these are monarch caterpillars right there. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's starting to, I really want to look for chrysalises. I haven't seen any yet. But look at this beautiful seed head. Ooh, there's definitely lots of bugs out right now. Look at that seed head. It always reminds me of fish. And these will spread. We are taking this out of this garden though this year. It is kind of a mess. So we want to get that one out because it's not the right space or place for it. We're going to kind of tuck our milkweed back up into here and make it a little less crazy because now they're popping over here. And we did have to pull a few out of the walkway. So they're just not in the best space, but we'll tuck them in there and kind of keep on our pollinators. But having milkweed is one of my favorite ones. One, the flower is beautiful. It's one of our favorite edible plants. I love to harvest it when it's quote unquote on the broccoli stage, and it has like almost broccoli florets. This flower right here is Verbena. So this is one of those that, and Bonensis, I lost the species name. It's in the Vervain family. So we're in the Vervain, which means that it's going to be bitter. But this is a great cut flower. It loves to reseed itself. But I tend to use this one as a stimulating bitter for the digestive system. It's a warming bitter, so when I put this in my mouth, it's going to be bitter, warming, and really stimulating almost. It actually relaxes the nervous system, kind of really helps balance us out, and also gives us strength and wisdom. So I really love this plant. And I will show you the other Verbena hastata if I can find it. It tends to bolt in my garden. I'm going to harvest a little of this here. Apparently I'm just making my 330 tea. But this is lemon balm. Again, square stem, mint family, aromatic. This is a beautiful plant to grow in your garden. It is finicky. We are lucky enough that it's still here with us in this little area. But it grows pretty significantly, pretty quickly. You can harvest this 3 or 4 times. But lemon balm is one of those that really is going to be supportive to the nervous system, really helping us balance out when we feel stressed or when we feel like it's just too much. And I feel like we're kind of hitting that point where life feels just a little bit too much. And so having a cup of lemon balm tea every day is a wonderful way to kind of support the body and regulate. The other thing that I do love about lemon balm, and I actually use this a lot in my practice, is it's wonderful for cold sores, and chapped lips. And so making infused oil out of lemon balm is a wonderful way to really kind of connect the dots on feeling better and also having that energy, kind of get that out of the body. So getting cold sores out of the body. Now, I will say it's not going to eliminate the herpes virus from your body, but I, knock on wood, haven't had cold sores in so long, and I do feel like it's because I kind of have lemon balm in my chapsticks. So, so it's a great one to have on hand. The next plant I want to talk about, she had to get her own bed, and she is wonderful and plentiful. And again, we do have to harvest and cut everybody's back soon. You know, we have the equinox in a couple days, and usually it's a couple days for me after the equinox where I'm going to do my last couple harvests. And if I get bonus ones in October, great. But normally we're pretty much done. Now this guy right here is comfrey. I just want you to look at her bell-shaped flowers. There she is. Let's see. Let's do it. Wow. You can see it over here. Now her flowers tend to go, they start kind of deep purpley in the early season. We have harvested off of this particular patch 5 or 6 times. Now I will want to note that my comfrey is in a raised bed. We have lots of wireweed here, and so we tend to raise it in a deep bed. But normally she'd get very, very high. So her first harvest is around 3 to 4 feet high, and now we're kind of down to that 2 feet. But we're harvesting the leaves and the flowers. I love to harvest it when it is in leaf and flower. Drying comfrey is a little bit tricky, but we do want to dry it to get the best harvest. So being very gentle with it, meaning we don't want to touch it too much. It's one of those plants like basils or other aromatic plants that when you touch it, it'll actually brown up really quickly and oxidize. And we don't really want things that are brown in our body as much. We want all this lovely vitality. My favorite ways to use comfrey is topically, for the most part. There's certain situations where I might use it internally, but it's always recommended to against it unless you're working with a practitioner on a certain issue where you need it. But on the outside of the body, it is one of my favorites to use for bruises, sprains, arthritis. It just pulls that heat and that energy out, that pain out. So things like a foot bath, adding comfrey into a foot bath, making a strong tea, and then putting it into a foot bath is a beautiful way to connect the dots on, to really kind of get that out of the body. I even use it when I go for a hike, and I have really tired feet, I'll use that with actually Rosemary, who's over there. And I'll use both of those to kind of help pull that pain out. I'll also make a really strong tea when my muscles are aching or I have bruises or sprains. I'll make a really strong tea, make probably about a cup of comfrey leaf, and I tend to use dry just because that's what I have on hand. If I was using fresh, I'd double it because there's a lot of water in these plants. So I'd use 2 cups of fresh comfrey, boil that down with probably 8 to 10 cups of water, make a real strong tea, and pour that into my bath. It's a really nice way to kind of maximize that. And that'd be making a decoction. So you're boiling it for at least 20 minutes with the lid on, simmering, not boiling, simmering. All right. Oi, she does not look good. But this is Althea. This is our marshmallow plant. So now at this point, we're doing this. We're harvesting the seeds of the marshmallow. I am hoping to get lots of marshmallow babies. I am fortunate enough this year, hopefully, if all goes well, to have a place to grow. She's one of that does need a seedling to plant. She doesn't seem to seed herself out as well as I want to. This is her second year in the bed. She shoots up really tall stalks and gets little beautiful pink flowers, as all the Altheas do. Again, in the marshmallow family, so in the okra family, so in the same family as the hibiscus. But a beautiful plant for the digestive system. She is prone, no she is, she's got morning glory vine on her. She is prone to actually having what we call cedar rust. So you see it right there. So I harvest her early in the season for her flowers, and then we actually can use the roots also. But using the flowers, they're demulcent, meaning that they're a little bit slimy, and so they are going to help coat and soothe the body. We think about our insides of our bodies, they're all mucous membranes, all of them. And so we really want to keep those smooth and, not smooth, moist, soft and moist, kind of gooey. And so we really want to kind of look at that. I just want to peek in here really quick. This is, again, just so you can see kind of the blossoms. This guy we cut back and he reflushed out. This is the bronze fennel that I showed you earlier in the video. They get these gorgeous fennel pollen. Now, I do want to say that they have these little red ants everywhere around here who are biting my ankles right now. And so just be careful. They bite a little bit. They're munchers, for sure. All right. The other plant that's here, oh, I didn't know you bloomed. Yay, is motherwort. Now, motherwort, harvested on the full moon in Pisces, feels like really, really good medicine to me. Motherwort is one of our herbs that is very centering and grounding. So I use it a lot for folks that just are above their heads or really floaty or can't seem, it's not necessarily the focus. It's like they can't bring their thoughts back into their bodies. Or a lot of times I say they can't connect their heart to their mind or their mind to their heart, you know, to really kind of follow their dreams. So using motherwort is a great way. It is a bitter herb. It is in the mint family. So it is aromatic, not as much, but it's gets these gorgeous square stems. Can be cut a couple times during the season. Often I tincture this guy. Tincture motherwort, not this guy, her. It's definitely a her. But I also love her because she has these soft, fuzzy stems. And then she has, oh, and this is called Leonardus cardiacus. So she's great for the cardiac system also, helping with heart palpitations. But she has these little nasty seed heads on her. She's feisty. Again, more Tulsi, seeded itself. A couple of the other blooms that I'm gonna do, and I don't want to go much past 20 minutes because we're right there right now, is this is prunella or self-heal. Now, self-heal is one of those plants that, I keep thinking about and growing and want bigger patches of it. It is not super happy here. It's okay. But prunella can grow anywhere between, I guess, 6 or 2 or 3 inches up to 18 inches, and sometimes even taller than that. It really depends where it's growing. I've gone in the forest before, and she's been up by my hips. But this is one of our healing plants, both internally and externally. Externally, it's going to help. It's a vulnerary, so it's going to help heal skin. It's going to help really pull the. It's going to help heal the skin, and also boost collagen production. She's also one of those that can be used for almost any kind of rash or bump or bruise or scrape. So she's a wonderful plant to have on hand. Internally, she's soothing to the digestive tract. She's really going to help heal up anything. The other plant that we use is right next door. This is supposed to be our healing garden. It's pretty much weedy right now, but that's okay. Is calendula. Now, I'm letting all this calendula go to seed, so we'll harvest that for next year. And I'll actually harvest these guys too. Right. So calendula is another one of our great healers, a vulnerary, but it's also wonderful for the inside and outside of the skin, or inside the body and outside. So inside the body, I like to use it for folks that have ulcers or colitis or any kind of inflammation on the gut lining. It's really a strong medicine. It is bitter. So if you were to brew this bright sunny tea, it would be a little bit bitter, aromatic, earthy. So oftentimes we're mixing it with things like fennel and other plants to heal the digestive, like marshmallow is another one that we often mix it with to heal the digestive tract. We'll call it a gut healing herbal tea. I guess I'll finish with this guy. Now this is our, I believe this is Rama. My brain's thinking this is Rama. This is another one of our Tulsi basils. This is going to be my tea today. It's about 3 o'clock here. So nice square stem. Highly aromatic, that anisey flavor. Now this is one of our adaptogens, and so having kind of a nice tea of this on the daily basis. I'm still going to mix some of that beautiful tenoflorum. I love the flavor of it. It is highly aromatic, but realistically, this guy right here is has more of the adaptogen properties. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm going to start posting more of these. Oh, some echinacea. And continue to kind of go through the plants in the garden and some weeds that we can start to harvest so that you can kind of get a better sense of what's growing on your land and also what you can use. If you have any questions, please post them below. Or if you need any help with anything, just let us know. We're doing our best we can, as we all can do. saying hi and bye from the mountains.